Harold Peacock, who's...
I'll help you.
Harold and Harold, he's going to talk to us about this power couple. How are you, Harold?
Oh, very well, thank you, Danny. Look, and first a big shout-out to Brad at Marburg and Pete at Brassel. They're listening this morning, so good morning to them.
Spread the word, fellas. Tell them that I moved over from Puddle FM and I'm here. Let's talk about this power couple. This is interesting.
Yeah, look, everyone leaves a small mark on history. This couple, it's a bit smaller than most, but still worth remembering. And it all starts when the convict ship, the Waverley, departed Dublin. And it was 186 years ago this month.
Wow.
It was in 1839 and arrived in Port Jackson 4 months later. Now, one of the 176 convicts on board was John Carrick, who was a Catholic monk who tortured a child to death in Ireland.
Oh.
Another was Matt Hourigan, who was a convicted murderer in Tipperary. He came to Ipswich and killed again.
Oh, God.
And then there was John Doway. He was convicted at Carrickfergus in Antrim, Ireland, and given a life sentence for stealing a bullock.
Oh.
Now, he fairly quickly found himself here in the Moreton Bay penal settlement, and in fact, right here in Ipswich, where he worked as a boot maker. But left behind in Ballymena and Antrim were Doway's wife Jane and daughter Eliza. And so 10 years later, with the Irish famine at its worst, the opportunity to leave Ireland, thanks to that great social reformer Caroline Chisholm, in 1849, Jane and Eliza set sail aboard the ship Success, headed for the Australian colonies. Now, they sailed into Sydney just the week before Christmas, 1849, and they were with other families who survived the Great Famine. Jane and Eliza Doway soon joined John Doway, who had been given his ticket to leave, and so the Ipswich power couple were together at last.
Wow.
But Danny, they didn't exactly look like David and Victoria Beckham. You see, John Doway was described as being dark with a ruddy and freckled complexion, a very, very hairy chest, eyebrows joined in the middle, and he was missing his front upper tooth, all of which means that John had a very distinctive face and a smile.
Right.
And his wife, Jane Doway, well, she was described as having a ferret-like appearance. And shortly after she arrived in the colony, she was taken to Brisbane and incarcerated in the jail there because of her obscene language and hitting a policeman.
Obscene language.
Now,
like
where have you heard that before?
Sam Kerr.
Well, anyway, in the meantime, John had trouble because he failed to turn up for convict muster and so lost his ticket of leave. In any case, life continued for the reunited Doways. Their daughter Eliza got married, but then she died in Ipswich after a long and painful illness. Then in 1875, John actually advertised in Ipswich asking for charitable donations.
Right.
But it did no good because John himself died in Brisbane Hospital after suffering from an abscess for 6 months.
Oh.
And in 1881, Jane, the loyal wife who swore and hit policemen, she died at home in Cribb Street here in Ipswich. Now, the descendants of this Ipswich power couple continued to make their mark in history. One of their great-grandsons was killed in a freak accident involving a rope and fracturing the skull. Another was convicted of illegal gambling, and one of their cousins was sentenced to 10 years penal servitude for bestiality. Now, the ship Waverley that brought John Doway, who founded the Ipswich dynasty, it was included on Australia's first $5 note.
Wow.
So, Danny, next time you and Damo are holding one of those old $5 notes, just remember, Ipswich's power couple, that's John Doway and his monobrow, and Jane Doway and her ferret-like appearance, and their small piece of history that they brought to Ipswich.
Well, I've got a fiver here. Is it an old fiver or the current fiver?
Yeah, no, it's the old paper one. In fact, Caroline Chisholm is on there, and the ship Waverley is just above her.
Yeah, and I remember that one because I was without my glasses, I could read the flag on top of that ship.
Yes, indeed, that is true.
And I could read it, and it's amazing, but I can't see in front of me. But anyhow, now, mate, that's a great yarn. HistoryOutThere.com, and there's all these stories from, the last 3, 4, 5 years?
The last 4 years. 235 Ipswich short stories, and about 400 or 500 short stories overall at HistoryOutThere.com.
HistoryOutThere.com. Check them out. Maybe jump on again and give me an arc, video a few arc, and we'll have some fun with it. So, all right, mate. Big shout out to your beautiful sister, and she's tuned.
As always.
Yeah, well, you love her so much. All right, mate. It's 8:19. HistoryOutThere.com. There is Harold the H. Peacock on West Bremer Radio.